The beggar arrived on a Tuesday, on a day when the sun felt like a curse over the village of Umuoba. Dust moved like smoke across the paths, wrapping itself around half-dead cassava plants. Women walked with empty clay pots, their faces heavy with heat and hunger. Under the great Udala tree, the elders prayed in hoarse voices to a sky that did not answer. Yet, in the marketplace, Aduni stood proudly at the center, the pride of Umuoba. Her fingers moved quickly as she counted her gold coins, each clink sharp and sure. Behind her, her barn was filled with sacks of grain, guarded like treasure. Villagers watched from the shade, their eyes dark with envy and quiet resentment. Above them all stretched an empty, merciless sky with the sun burning like fire. Beyond the village, a dusty road led into Umuoba, shimmering with heat. Along that dusty road, an elderly beggar walked slowly toward the village. His calm, intense eyes glimmered like deep water, kind yet dangerous in their quiet. His worn sandals scraped over the cracked earth, step after patient step. When he entered the marketplace, all the noise seemed to fold into silence. Villagers began whispering to one another, unsure who this stranger might be. The beggar stood in the center of the square, his torn brown robe hanging loosely from his shoulders. He said in a soft but steady voice, "I am thirsty." People avoided his gaze, turning their faces away, ashamed yet unwilling to help. Aduni threw her head back and laughed loudly, her pride louder than their fear. Her mocking face hardened as she looked at him, lips curling with scorn. Slowly, the beggar turned toward her, his gaze steady and serious. His expression did not show anger, only a deep, quiet sadness. Aduni stepped closer, shoulders straight, confident in her power and wealth. She lifted a clay cup in her jeweled hand. Inside, clear water shimmered in the light. The water was precious, the last comfort in a thirsty land. With burning pride, she spat into the cup, her anger falling into what could have given life. The crowd gasped together as if lightning had struck the middle of the market. Without mercy, she poured the water onto the dust, letting it vanish into the hungry ground. The beggar lifted his eyes to the sky, calm no longer, but heavy as thunder. A sharp wind rose and swirled dust around him, as if the earth itself had heard the insult. That night, thick thunder clouds gathered above Umuoba, rumbling without rest. Lightning tore across the sky, but still, no rain fell onto the waiting earth. For a moment, villagers lifted their faces with hope, thinking the sky had finally opened. But by morning, the sky was empty again, as if it had changed its mind. The last of the crops withered completely. The fields turned gray and dead. Weak livestock stumbled and collapsed, their ribs sharp beneath thinning skin. Even Aduni's grain, once her pride, turned black and rotten inside her barn. Clay pots, once full of water, cracked in the heat and lay useless on the floor. Aduni stared at her ruined wealth in shock, her confidence crumbling with it. Around her, hungry children moved slowly, their bodies thin, their voices weak. At last, Aduni went to the village shrine, her heart heavy with fear. The priestess burnt incense, the smoke twisting into the air like silent questions to the spirits. As the sun sank in red light, Aduni walked alone along the empty road, no servants beside her. In her hands, she carried her very last pot of water, the final sign of her old life. She reached the marketplace and fell to her knees in the dust where she once stood proud. Tears slipped from her eyes and fell to the ground, disappearing as quickly as the water she had wasted. A soft wind rose and brushed against her skin, gentle where it had once been harsh. Behind her, the beggar appeared again, the same torn robe, the same grey beard, the same calm weight in his eyes. She turned to him, her face humbled, pride broken like the cracked pots around her. He spoke calmly, his voice carrying the weight of sky and earth together. "What do you carry now, Aduni?" he asked quietly. "Nothing," she whispered, though her hand still clung to the pot behind her. "Pour it," he said, his tone gentle but impossible to refuse. She tipped the pot, and the last of her water spilled onto the dry ground she had once dishonored. For a long, silent moment, no one moved. The whole village seemed to hold its breath. Then a single raindrop fell from the sky and landed on her skin like a blessing. Another drop followed, then another, until the rain began to dance across her face. Heavy rainfall burst from the heavens, drenching the village, soaking the fields, filling every empty pot. Villagers rushed out, shouting and laughing, their joy rising higher than the storm. From the wet earth, a small green plant pushed its way to the light, as if the land itself forgave her, even as the beggar quietly vanished from their sight.
Thank you for watching. If you like this story, subscribe for more.